So, John, you went to the eclipse yesterday. Did you get attacked by any apostles?
They weren't apostles per se, but I was attacked by geese.
Geese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
all they did
they'll
was
get your arm off or rape your waifu or anything.
Yeah, they're not ducks.
Okay.
Oh, ducks.
Let's stick to Berserk references. Not nature references, because that's a lot scarier. Sad to say.
Nick, have you signed up for the beta yet?
I have. I went online this morning, and it's like, here's the European-only release, and I was like, oh no, they're not doing that thing, are they? But then, no, they're doing it by time zones and stuff. So yeah, I signed up for it, and hopefully I'll know about it sooner rather than later.
Good. And I'm gonna commandeer your PS4.
You can come and play it whenever you want. And
that's dangerous.
Reasonably.
As we all know,
dangerous.
Within reason and
within whose reason?
Prior notice.
As we all know, I'm a man of reason.
Common reason. Welcome to the Dragon's Flow Teacast.
I am the T-Man, a man of reason.
Your own reason.
It's still reason.
You have your own brand. I guess that depends on your definition. Okay, I kind of dug my own grave with that one.
Yeah, you
Thank
did.
you.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you.
Oh, man, your parents gonna be upset.
Yeah, don't come into my house in the middle of the night again.
No promises.
All right, what are we drinking again this week?
Coconut Pouchong.
My favorite, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get that out of the way.
Oolong tea with coconut.
Yeah, this is, I think I said this episode 1, but in case I didn't, I'm not usually a big fan of coconut, but I tried this years ago, and this is, like, perfect. The coconut almost comes off with subtle notes of vanilla. You can reinfuse this so many times. I love this tea.
Yeah, I like coconut everything, and I have a lot of coconut tea. And so, yeah, this is good. I love it.
So, if I
And oolong's my favorite tea, so...
Oolong's my favorite tea. That's, I think, the reason I originally tried it.
So all around, great.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I wore clothing made of coconut, would you eat it?
No, that sounds terrible.
Are you sure?
Wait, what? Like coconut what? Fibers?
No,
that would make sense.
The inside stuff. The white stuff.
Water?
No, you can eat the inside of a coconut.
The coconut meat?
Yes.
No.
No, why not?
Because I could get it literally anywhere else.
Yeah, but, think about it this way.
Without the flavor of you.
Yeah,
but I made this with my literal blood, sweat, and tears.
Not
you
literal.
bled over it? Then I definitely don't want it.
But if it's made out of... He sweats a lot. So, salted coconut...
You're just adding cons. You're not making a good case.
Have you ever had,
I have. I've had baked salted coconut, like, chips.
But was it salted with sweat?
No. I'm sure that would make it worse.
You can't be sure.
It would make it more disgusting,
you
that's
theorize.
For sure. I theorize it would make it worse.
Hypothesize.
That's my hypothesis.
It'll give you a new flavor.
But because it's a hypothesis, it's implied that I'm going to test it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said my theory.
Oh, okay.
Theories must be tested. Yeah, theories must be tested as well.
Theories don't have to be tested. They're just in fact, they're untested. Is that correct?
No.
They just haven't been proven wrong.
Yeah, theories are supported.
Well,
hypotheses are not.
I'm not going to test that theory, so there we go. It'll never be proven wrong.
Your loss.
Well,
for now.
Well, I don't agree.
Rome wasn't built in a night.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was an interesting...
Meanwhile, back at the plot...
I don't think we have a plot this week because we wasted it all on
2 days ago.
3 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I caught up on Fate.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so we can get to that in a second.
So
I can't.
So this loser here is the only one that didn't.
Excuse me for working.
Hey, I did stuff too.
This is part of your stuff.
Well, then it should be part of your stuff too.
I'm
You failed your own logic.
I'm a busy man, and I was busy making the coconut dress.
So far, one of our recurring jokes is...
Wait, so the coconut dress... Wait, it's a dress?
Well, I can't make pants. Have you
You
seen...
could have just said shirt.
Have you seen coconut meat?
You could have said, like, toga or, dress implies something... that's a different...
Well, now we know who hasn't made coconut clothing before.
No, I haven't.
Check your privilege.
What privilege is that?
The non-coconut clothing making privilege.
Oh, man, there's a lot of privileges I don't know about. I'll have to... That's like a whole day's worth of checking.
Mm-hmm.
Just all that privilege. Oh, man.
Nah. Well, we can just kind of wing it after that. For now, we have some news on Dragonball FighterZ.
Which I signed up for the beta for.
Attaboy.
So what's the new stuff that I haven't heard about?
Alright. Number one, we now have confirmation there will be, arena changes, like, mid-game. So you can hit somebody at the right spot, and they'll fly... Yeah, mid-fight. And they'll fly to another one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it looked pretty fun. Because it looked like just like you would see, someone flying through a bunch of mountains, landing somewhere else, and just continue fighting. Just like the show.
That's good.
I love it.
I love it, too.
We saw some things of Krillin and Piccolo fighting. Piccolo looks pretty fun. He can do the special beam. He can charge it while dashing left and right. So you can, like, dodge your opponent while you're charging that thing, then shoot it at him.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Krillin, he seems...
Is he just like a charged character where you have to move like in a direction and then like let's say he has to back up and then for a certain amount of time and then move forward while attacking and then that does the attack, or do you have to actually like start like hold a button and move?
No, think of it.
Then you're able to charge while moving.
You can charge it while moving.
That's weird.
Think of it like the episode when he was fighting Frost, where he was charging a special beam cannon but still running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more in terms of game mechanics.
I don't know. They could do it where you're holding, like you have a sequence and you hold a button, or they can do it as, you do the sequence and then for, like, let's say 1.5 seconds, you can then hit a button after that, or it'll just charge automatically, or it'll fire automatically. I don't know.
Because, like, I hate charge characters where usually it's... you hold a certain direction for a certain amount of time, and then you go in the opposite direction while attacking, and then that's the only way they can do that move. I hate that.
I just like that they have that you can move... So, like, I liked... I never mained as Samus at all, but back in the day when, Super Smash Brothers was fun, I used to like those types of characters where you...
people's feelings.
Yeah. Well, now it's so serious. Anyway...
Well, it was fun until those people made it not fun.
I used to enjoy, creating a space between the enemy, charging that, maybe in a couple different bouts, and then, using that when the time came. I like those sort of chargy characters, if you can hold on to it especially.
Yeah.
So I want to see where this is. If it's one of those things where you have it charged and you just have his two fingers up, and then you move around until now I can choose. I don't know. I want to see. I'm now curious about Piccolo. That's another incentive for me.
I like the Samus type.
Let's see.
Wait, so what about new Smash don't you like? Or which Smash did you stop liking it at?
Honestly, I still like them. It's just now, you play Super Smash Brothers and, people have it down to the frame, what they need to do exactly. And if you don't do that, they get annoyed. I can usually hold my own well enough, but...
yeah, you're pretty decent.
Thank you.
For someone who doesn't own the game.
Yeah.
Or care.
Yeah.
You're actually the agent of chaos who ruins everyone's day because of that reason.
I know.
I try to be.
You're not that good, though.
Get good.
And I don't mind being that character, but I just ruin people's day as I play it. I'm just like... okay, let's do Dokapon Kingdom now.
Oh, no.
We can start at the beginning. Again.
Don't, no. I can't handle that first lap one more time.
I almost got it down. I got this. I know exactly what I need to do. Roll 4 4s or start again.
Play a thief. Put all your points into speed.
That is fun.
Well, Mr. T-Man,
See?
you like to have all the items on, and
Yes.
that's the kind of chaos you like.
Yes.
You like random chaos,
Yes.
not
And like
oops, I accidentally won.
something like that. Stations where, it's like moving up and you gotta keep up with it or things randomly
Yeah.
fall. Bring the freaking chaos! It was so fun in Smash Brothers. Just like, oh shit, what is going on? I love
Yeah.
it. But now we're just like Final Destination, no items, can't use Star Fox.
1v1. No, you can only use Star Fox. 1v1 Fox. Final Destination, no items. Yeah. There's a certain fun to that, but as like a fighting game, which it was never meant to be, and they've done everything they could possibly do to stop it from being that. Like, you kind of have to turn the items off and not do the weird stages like the ones you just talked about.
Boring.
It's boring, but it's all based on skill instead of just randomness. And that's what you like. You like the random funness.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fun to play with that, but I usually like to do the, just pure skill.
I like when, right in the middle of that, they have a lot... what's that really huge stage?
From the new one?
Definitely from the second to last one. Or maybe the new one is...
Ford.
The new one is like Kirby's Dream Land, and it's like the entire Kirby game.
No, so it's the one from before, where it's like mountainous.
Oh, is it like a castle at the top and a rock at the bottom?
I think so, yeah.
I forget what it's called.
So, I like... Well, that stage is huge, and it allows for a lot of forgiveness depending on where you are, but, it really offers you a variety of different tactics to use. And so I like that, where there's a bunch of things going on. You have to figure out how to use your environment for you and against them.
Yeah, it's good because it has like a lot of tactical leeway, and there's not a lot of like things coming and crushing you. Like there's not a lot of external influence on the fight itself. But like if you go down into like the rocky area, then the other player has to either come forward and fight in your territory, or then it becomes a waiting game,
And then if you have items on, they can spawn in either place, and then you gotta figure out a way to deal with it.
There's a lot more strategy to it than you couldn't keep up with the descending map.
I like the for the items, sometimes it just gets a little bit too, like, well, I couldn't have done anything because that just spawned at your feet. That just dropped right at your feet. Darn, no reflex could have saved that. I like the Super Smash
I have that on usually.
Item, or little floating thing, because you got to hit that a bunch of times. You don't know what's going to, finally break it exactly.
And it usually causes, like, a fight over it. Like, if there's...
That's one of the reasons I'm the agent at Chaos, is because everyone's going for the Super Smash things. I'm like, ha, and you're wide open, goodbye.
Yeah. Everyone panics and goes for it, and then you just are like, all right, I'm going for you.
Exactly.
Forget the Smash Ball. I'm gonna take you all out.
And in the words of the great tactician Stalin, no man, no problem. Like, it's mine now. I smash you. I do not align myself with Stalin besides Super Smash Brothers. Anyways, yeah, so that's a lot of fun. But that's primarily why I'm going into it. Like, I'm not going into it to try to prove that I'm a better human being or even a general better strategist.
Yeah,
it's just
there's
like,
a lot of people who are like, they take it way too seriously.
Yeah,
and that's a problem just as much as people who are like.
Oh, to those people, if you're listening, we have a friend that's fairly competitive, and one of the nice things that he does in the groups that are not as serious about Super Smash is that he generally won't play his main character with us. Like, he will just bop from character to character and find new little nuances in gameplay, and that brings it to a pretty level field.
Yeah, and he gets weirdly good at them.
Yeah.
I think it was in line for the 3DS version's release, and everybody was playing the demo. They were just like, "Were you the guy playing Bowser?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they were like, "How'd you do that? How did you win?"
Well, I was thinking Forsic, but yeah,
Oh.
him too, exactly. How did you win?
Yeah, I like Pikachu.
Rip.
Pikachu got so useless over each iteration.
Oh, he was fun in the original Smash.
I think most likely you just were more into Pokemon then.
Pokemon?
Yeah, probably it was probably that.
Yeah. Right. Talking back to fighters.
Oh yeah, that subject we were on.
The plot. So we saw some of Piccolo, we saw some of Krillin. Nothing too special with that. He's mainly a support character. We saw him, throw a couple of hits here and there, but nothing that really, stood out to me. But I only saw a few clips. There's got to be more by now, because right now there's some kind of convention-like thing going on. And so people are playing the new version of the game. So that's fun. We also saw a few small clips of the new story mode game, which looks interesting. It's going to be based on androids. I think Giro was able to make androids of all the good guys when they were Super Saiyan and whatnot. Because they had the same android glowing eyes, and it seemed like all the good guys got knocked out. So maybe it's like the villains have to now step in. Because you saw people like Cell in it, which would be fun.
Also a nice plot twist.
Mm-hmm. A game which story mode is completely secondary. It's got a better story mode than all the other games. So all the other games
and a little bit of the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
Blasphemy. What else did I see? We definitely saw that it's going to be just 18 and 17 is going to be like an assistant type of thing.
Yeah.
One cute little thing I saw was
17 is going to be like a assist striker kind of type.
Yeah. One cute little thing I saw was so 18's ultimate thing is her and 17 do a special attack, they knock them up in the air, and as they fall, 17, 18 blast them in midair. And if Krillin is on your team, it'll be Krillin instead of 17. Because they're all husband and wife.
Aww.
That's cute. They kill people.
Darn, it seems almost like after the tournament arc episode, it seems almost like a waste. They could have done what they did there.
Ooh, you know what? This actually brings up something we can talk about. Maybe you'll have more information about this, Nick. So they announced the collector's edition for Xbox and PlayStation, but not PC.
Because fighting games, nobody really plays on PC.
Excuse me? That's probably true. But still, come on. I want the collector's edition.
It's mostly because for, tournament type things, they don't... It's really hard to pull that off on PC. Because, it's one of the rare times that having different parts set up make a huge difference, because fighting games, they need to be frame precise, and having different components, and one person having a terrible computer and the other person having an awesome one, it really could make a huge difference. Killer Instinct actually has a test that you run when you start up the game, and if you fail the test, you just can't play online. That's it. If your computer isn't up to par, and it's pretty intense, actually, you just can't do it.
I wonder if it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, there could be ways to fix it, but they don't want to bother. Because with Mortal Kombat X, they pretty much just said, screw it.
Fighting game netcode is really hard to do.
I don't know anything about that, which is why
It's
passing it off to you, so you can explain.
I don't know that much about it either, but I do know that playing online is often a laggy experience, even with a good connection.
Yeah.
Which I think I have a bit of news about. Oh yeah. So you guys know about the Xbox One X?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who don't, it's the Xbox One's half-generation successor. It costs $500. $500? It doesn't say that, but I think it's $500. Yeah, it does. $500.
Is this? Are we getting into the realm of like privilege tax? Is that what this is?
No, it's more like they're going on the games are and technology is updating so fast that they're moving to more like the iPhone and Android release schedule rather than, a console lasts 10 years.
When are they going to finally, just modularize?
You mean like they used to do? Like Nintendo 64 had that. All the Sega systems had that. People were talking about them doing that, and I got the impression that it would be more expensive to do that.
To have a system
in the short term. It would be more the initial console would be more expensive to have, upgrade ports, upgrade slots or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be cheaper just to have the little upgrade things.
Well, then everybody wins. You get for the people that want a game, you get a big upfront, and then you get consistent, little upgrades, as opposed to, you have to mass produce these systems.
It seems like they'll make more money and keep people around longer.
The problem is that the initial console would be more expensive, which would turn people off.
Fine.
And as it is now, the consoles, the half-generation consoles, still play the same games, they just look better. Theoretically, there's going to be games that just play awfully performance-wise as time moves on. But that's an issue for a much later time. Anyway, so Ark is a game that I know nothing about, but it's just came out for Xbox One and PS4, or at least it just came out for PS4. It might have been around for Xbox One for a while, but this kind of goes what we were saying with what we were saying last week about how you just can't hold up to PC gaming with the newer consoles. So the Xbox One X version, which is the upgraded version, runs on the medium, somewhere between the medium and high version of the PC version. So even with your stupid upgrade for $500, you get the medium quality. So it has a setting for you can play at 1080p at 60 frames per second or 1440 at 30 frames per second.
When people
imagine that the PS4 version is probably going to be the same if they optimize it for PS4 Pro.
When people talk about the PC master race, this is what they're talking about.
Yes. And this has another interesting twist to it, as they are going for cross-platform multiplayer, which is something that's been happening increasingly lately.
With Ark?
With Ark. Do you know anything about this game? Because I know very little.
Vaguely. It involves, like, animals and I think dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I know.
It's one of those survival games.
It's one of those games that I am never going to play, so all I care about is the story, the sub-story behind this. So, Sony once again lying through their teeth, saying that they're not going to have cross-platform multiplayer because they need to protect the children. Because if they did that, then they'd be responsible for all the Xbox players, all the 12-year-olds, calling people racist things in the chat.
But just think of all those PC players they'd be getting.
High five.
Yeah.
Air high five, yeah.
That was a sound effect.
That was pretty good, I have to say. PC players will balance out the racist ones. Okay. That was good. So obviously this is a huge, just giant lie for what is obviously a business decision, because they do, the only reason that they would not do this is because more people would buy PlayStations. Okay, so remember that episode of South Park where they had a literal war over which consoles everybody would buy because they all had to have the same one so that they could play with multiplayer? That's what this is. Everybody and their friend has to have the same console. Which kind of doesn't make sense because all the 12-year-olds buy Xboxes because they have to have the same multiplayer, so it would open up a new stream of people who know that Xboxes are objectively worse. And
it does show a little bit lack of faith in their product, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. The Xboxes are objectively worse in most ways, and if they did this, they would gain more people. Like, I know a couple people who bought Xboxes because their friends had the multiplayer. Like, even if the hardware was worse, they have way more games, just straight up. Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done talking about that.
Right. Going back to FighterZ again for more stuff. There's more info. We just
what?
Krillin, one of his moves is throwing the sensu bean. Enemies can pick that up.
Ooh.
So you gotta be careful with that.
That's interesting.
One of Android 16's ultimate is self-destruct. Leaves him with 1 HP, and he does a crap ton of damage.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Like he was gonna do.
That's a desperation move.
But it does leave him with 1 HP, so we can hey, one enemy left, I have 3 people left. Let's just blow them up.
Do you know if that 1 HP is the same thing as, they had that bleed over time effect?
Oh, yeah, it's all blue, so he can recover that if he immediately...
Oh, so you can just explode him, get him out right away?
Yeah.
Hopefully, have, a couple tank... Like a tank in Spank. Ironically, where he's the Spank. Ironically, where the tank is this... Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yep. Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta are going to be DLC / pre-order bonus.
Oh, screw that.
So they'll come eventually, but if you pre-order, you get them right away. Yeah.
Get ahead in the game.
Yeah.
I watched a good video the other day about... I forget the game, but it was a Kickstarter, I think. Some kind of crowdfunding. I'm assuming Kickstarter because that's what most crowdfunding in games are. And it got on Steam, and it was in early access for a while. and then it was going for $30. And some publisher picked it up pretty recently. And then they were like, okay, now it's a AAA game, and we're going to sell it for $60. But we're also going to expand the scope of it, and it's going to be, a much bigger game, so-and-so. So, okay, that's fair enough. But now we're going to announce a collector's edition and exclusive DLC and pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. And it's just like, there's this culture of AAA games that everything has to fit the mold. Like, you have to check down the boxes and have every single thing that, like, you can't not do these things. That's their mindset.
I think it was Assassin's Creed, which had something like 18 different versions depending on, what level of pre-order bonus you get, where you buy it from, etc.
Okay, I don't know about that, but I do
like
know
you buy from Best Buy, you can get this skin. If you buy it from GameStop, you get this weapon.
That's the worst, because that means that no matter what you do, you can't get all the things unless you buy multiple copies of the game.
There's like...
They also had an $800 collector's edition.
A game is not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not worth whatever the normal collector's edition is worth.
And even then, they have normal, deluxe, collectors, deluxe collectors, super something.
One, like, 3 tiers is stretching it.
What is above deluxe collectors? Zen? You are the game?
You have a legal pass to assassinate people at your whim.
There's, in my mind, like, the tiers are like, you get the game. Then, the collector's edition is like you get, I don't know, special box version or something, and the soundtrack, and maybe some stickers or something. And then the third level is you get an awesome paperweight, whatever form that takes. It could, if it's an anime game, it's like a figure of Kamina pointing at the stars, or if it's Skyrim, it's a dragon.
I want that statue still.
Yeah,
that was a cool statue. With Dragonball FighterZ, you get a statue of Goku looking like he does in Dragonball FighterZ. That shit looks pretty epic. I want it. But I'm PC, so, to hell with me. And other gaming news stuff, Age of Empires 4.
Yeah, it's a thing. They had a trailer. There was no gameplay. You play as various races.
So I've never played Age of Empires.
It's a bit like Civ, only it's real time, and it's purely focused on war. Have you ever played StarCraft?
Yes.
It's that.
It's that?
Yeah. A little more investment in, like, development and technology and stuff like that. Okay, so
it's not TS game.
Instead of Zerg Rush, you have you're slowly building up your civilization, and you start in usually you start in Stone Age, and you work your way up to oh, my light went out.
Yay!
That's not good.
I don't mind.
You work your way up through, Stone Age, Bronze Age, Industrial era, whatever. 3 had more recent ages than the others did. I didn't play it as much as 2, but it seems like with each iteration they're getting more and more close to modern times. So, yeah. It's basically just StarCraft with a little more focus on evolving your civilization.
Right, well, when more news comes out of that, we can talk about it more.
Yeah, when they show gameplay, I'll consider it a real thing.
Anything else we got?
Yes. What is it? Oh yeah, Final Fantasy PC version announced. Not
What?
much of a surprise. Final Fantasy 15.
I really don't care about Final Fantasy. It's just...
Ever or burnt out?
I would not say... Yeah, I guess it's more burnt out, because at this point, it's just... It's almost like a parody of itself. Final Fantasy X, X, 2. Like Final Fantasy 15. Is this the first 15? The second 15? Like, they're making sequels of the sequels.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The 13 was the one that really did it in. 13-3.
Which one was 13?
13.
Which one was it?
13.
Like, who was in it?
Lightning.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Lightning was the character that ruined Final Fantasy forever. Because they stuck her in a bunch of other things that...
Didn't they try to revive her? Like, didn't they just try to make her cool again?
Yeah. No, they just tried to make her cool.
Oh.
That reminds me of one of my...
It put her in everything so everyone would stop hating her, only it really, really backfired.
It reminds me of one of my favorite stories about Final Fantasy. I don't know if it was a specific game. Is there a Final Fantasy Online?
There's
Yeah.
2.
In one of them, there was a dragon in which the makers of the game intended it to be unbeatable. But there was a guild that came around and eventually decided, let's go for it. It took something like 16 hours of them fighting it.
18.
18 hours?
Oh, my God.
And just before they beat it, the game devs freaked out because they wanted to be unbeatable, so they just, like, pulled the plug.
No!
That might be a different game, because 18-hour Final Fantasy 14 raids are a kind of a thing.
Pretty sure it was Final Fantasy. Because I laughed a lot.
I would laugh at that, too. I think that happened... That might have happened, like, the first time. I don't know. I don't know the story.
It happened once, and everyone was just, like, pissed the fuck off, and they made up for it.
Imagine.
Yeah.
But I know that it happens regularly, so maybe it's like they were like, hey, people will actually do this insane, stupid thing, so they put it in as a normal thing and added more of them. I don't know.
Maybe it was EverQuest.
EverQuest. That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
That was the first game I ever bought for myself, and I still have never played it.
Because you have to pay the subscription?
Because of that, and I forget what else. But I just, as a dumb kid, I bought it, and I didn't know what you needed to play it, and I think it was something as simple as I couldn't hook up my, what was that, a PS2 game?
No, it was a PC game.
Or a PC.
This isn't PS2.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
And you need internet.
Yeah.
And you need to pay a monthly fee.
Something like that. I don't know. I just saw
Yeah, it was EverQuest, and when it had a quarter of its health left, it just disappeared.
After 16 hours?
And it wasn't just
75%?
Yeah, it wasn't just a guild, it was multiple guilds working together just for the sake of saying we took this thing down.
That is beautiful.
That's
My
like
God.
Sword Art Online level.
He didn't die, he didn't fly away, he just vanished.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, because
I guess if you die in EverQuest, you like lose levels and experience points. And so people lost many levels and experience points because of this, because they kept dying and being resurrected and like running back.
That's terrible. I was going to say, because I've played the Final Fantasy Online Worlds when it was in its early stages. I think it was free. Well, it doesn't matter. And it was a lot of fun. I could see them, just sort of rolling with that.
Free, it was probably like when they were doing one of the expansions, and it's like you can play up to this point or something.
Yeah, I think it was one of those. And I think I tried a couple different types of characters, and it was a lot of fun.
That's what I've heard. And it looks amazing.
Oh yeah, it really did.
And it actually has a story, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I mean, I enjoyed the story. I mean, I finally found my favorite character and just sort of went with that. And of course, it's just a little magic user guy. But yeah, it was. It
Is it one of those little gremlin things?
I think so. Of course. And I mean, it was really funny too because with the specific character I'm talking about, like everyone else, it's really hard to use wrong. Like you just swing your big old weapon around, kind of. This one was a summoner, so he summoned little beasts to fight with him, kind of. And I didn't find out until later on that I was doing it completely and utterly wrong. But I was doing it wrong successfully. So
Agent of Chaos.
Oh man, I mean, it was a lot of fun to play. And then you teamed up with people for certain bosses. You would go to like this magic-y place, and then they would put you on a team. And I forget how they did that, but there were some people who had obviously done this like 30 times and just sort of guided the team. And then there would be someone that didn't do what they said, and yeah. Based totally on personality, they match you with. It was a blast, and I could definitely see them just sort of rolling with the punches if they, thought something was unbeatable, and then just, I guess here's, it drops a useless scale that just proves that you did it, and that would take up like 6 item slots or something, and you would just carry it around with you as a badge of honor,
Oh boy, what else we have?
There's also so Final Fantasy 15 PC version. Guess what? You can set it to greater settings than on the PS4 version. Isn't that a shock?
No.
And it'll come with all the DLC that has been released so far. There's also a smartphone version that looks way worse.
Oh god, I thought that was Grand Theft Auto.
Like
well, you switch screens
which Grand Theft Auto?
I don't
One?
know. Yeah.
One. It looks kind of like
Wait, when did they have automobiles in Final Fantasy?
in 15.
Do they?
Well, they've also had giant ships and stuff in Final Fantasy.
You must have not played a Final Fantasy game in a long time.
Last one I played was like 4.
Oh, yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. That's 9 games that matter. And about 40 games.
God.
After 7, it got kind of technology-ish.
I've heard about the infamous 8.
What about it?
That it's like the one that killed Final Fantasy.
Oh, I love 8.
Hmm.
It had some weird gameplay.
There was a lot of
things,
polarizing around
but
it.
Yeah, you think it's either the best or the worst.
At that point.
I think it's unplayable.
You've
So I
never
haven't-
played it.
Exactly.
Is that it for news?
That's it for news.
All right. So one thing I wanted to do, maybe more regularly, is sort of take an aspect of tea history or tea culture and do just like a quick couple minutes on it, or see if anything evolves from it. And so today I want to do a little bit of history
Ooh.
Yeah, boo.
with you. And earlier this week, the T-Man posted something about how those that put in milk before tea when brewing their tea will have their English citizenry revoked. And so far, we have 100% like, yeah, what are you doing? And how milk, as I understand it, got into the tea culture is both comical and interesting, and I hope that you think so too. So, I won't go into too much of the history just because that'll leave us open for future discussion. But basically, the emperors in China, they never have.
They tricked us.
No, they actually didn't. We tricked ourselves. Here's what happened. They have never had anything but just like pure tea, basically. And what would happen is tea became a commodity. They sold it, for its own worth, but then it also became currency. And one of the places it would go was, to the Mongols. And the Mongols, they didn't really have a diverse amount of food available to them. And a lot of what they had, they would mix around. And one of the things they did is they would take tea, and tea's good, but it's not, like, nutritionally dense. And so they'd mix it with, like, ox blood and milk from, like, goat milk and ox milk, I think. And so it would curdle. I mean, it was curdled milk. It was, like, no good with anything else. And they're like, well, we can't waste it. Let's put it in the tea. And the tea made it bearable. And it became a staple drink. Or, if you prefer, smoothie. And so they drank this for a long time. And then eventually, as most of you know, they invaded China. They took over. And they were let's call it the monarchy. They were the heads of the state. This was about the time that the West started trading with them. And so the Westerners came in, and when they were trading, they noticed that the Chinese emperor, Mongol, was drinking his tea with milk. So they went back to their country, and they said, we should drink it fancy like the emperor. And they started to use milk in their tea, cow milk. And now you know where this came from. No Chinese emperor before, or I believe since, has drinking it with tea, milk with tea. But they started drinking it because they wanted to be more like the emperor. And now you know.
So what have we learned?
I don't know how to
a little
feel
bit
about
of
that.
history.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. Work on that a bit.
All right.
I'll keep saying it.
I think you can do that. I think you can pull it off if you adjust it.
Well, this one was a little bit short, but I got a strong feeling Second Infusion's gonna have a lot more stuff to be said about a certain episode of a certain something.
Yes.
'Cause the more I think about that episode, the angrier I get.
Yeah, and we have oolong tea, so Second Infusion's even better. How fitting.
Yes. All the infusions are better. Alright, don't forget, send us emails at teacast@thedragonstreasure.com. We'll see you next week. And in the second infusion. Watch Code Geass, I guess.
Oh, you heard that.
I heard that.
That was supposed to be subliminal. Now it's superliminal.
Now it's superliminal! Alright, bye.